Shorty. It is out. And it was actually out about 3 weeks ago, I just didn't realise. Yeah, the song's hard, man. Tell her we better off, we have a good dream. Take a sip and take a seat, we feel on the seat. I always said that, I said it, no. You got one more time, I gotta go. I didn't actually know this until I got an email last night, but Shordie Shordie actually released the song that I've been telling you guys about. And yeah, what I thought I'd do in this video in terms of like giving you like, you know, as much value, like some of you guys don't want as many how to sell beats videos, you know, all at once, so I'm going to try and switch it up and talk placements. And I thought I'd tell you in as much detail how I ended up getting this placement, you know, the exact things that happened that allowed me to land this placement. But just a word of advice: don't try and skip through to the end, or like skip through certain steps of this, you know, what I'm about to break down, because each part is like super essential for a number of reasons which I'll explain in a second, but also because at the end I'll tell you why this worked and how you can sort of go about replicating it, and yeah, just what's, you know, what's sort of required to do it. Okay, so one thing I can't do, you know, with explaining all of this is like show you guys the emails or show you guys like the exact emails, because, you know, that's confidential, and I don't want like any labels coming after me for, you know, showing their stuff. I don't know how it all works, but I'm not going to show any emails. Yeah, I'll kind of walk you through exactly what happened and how long this took, and just sort of go step by step and sort of start from the beginning. The first thing that happened was I sent Shordie Shordie beats using the email on his Instagram. You know, I just kind of collect random emails from bigger artists every now and then, and I sent him a beat. This was in December, so I sent a beat in December, and I was actually out in Nepal at this point, Southeast Asia, doing something completely unmusic related. But I was out on this sort of work expedition thing, and I'd finished work for the day. I was in the hotel. I just started sending out some beats to rappers, send out some beats for placements. Now, the email itself, I can explain to you what was an email, because that's hopefully not bad. The email itself was basically the same thing that I send to all artists when I'm trying to land placements, or like sending them out to bigger artists, and that was literally I just put, hey bro, here's a couple beats that could work for you, light them up, or something. I put light them up, and then just put like, you know, all the best. And then I attached, I think maybe 2 beats. I attached the Yamming beat, and I attached another beat as an MP3, untagged. I had my own tag at the beginning of the beat, like normal, and that was it. So I sent it through to him. The next time I heard from him wasn't actually too long after. I think it was the next day. He replied to the email. He said, yeah bro, I really like the Yamming beat. I don't really want to gloss over any of these details, so do pay attention to all of the details. So I sent him an email, he replied saying he liked it. I just said, yeah, that's awesome man, feel free to use it. You know, super blase, don't be like, okay good, you owe me $1 million because you want to use a beat. Don't worry about that, just say, you know, feel free to use it. So that was it for like 2 months. I didn't hear from him in like 2 months. 2 months, maybe longer. I think it was literally in March, start of March, when he got back to me. So I hadn't heard from him in like 2 or 3 months. I get an email in March from the manager, and they said that they are super interested. I think they made a song from it at this point. Shordie Shordie wants to use this beat. Please see the contract below. And this was just basically him saying that they need the full rights to the beat. Here's the contract below. They attached a contract. I read through it. In terms of like money from his label, I don't really know how much he's signed for. I don't know his budget or anything like that. All I know is that this is my first opportunity to do this. So I'm basically just going to say yes to anything. So I literally read the contract through. It seemed okay. They get full rights for it. They pay me up front. So I just signed it, sent it back to them. And this is all fairly easy to do. It was like an electronic signature. You like click and then type in your name, and then you click submit. It goes straight to them. You know, so that wasn't any, you know, there wasn't any complications with that. So I signed it, sent it to them. You know, this all sort of signing of the contract kind of took place over about a week. So he sent it. I read it. thought about it for a little bit. I was like, do I actually want to try and barter with them? I was like, no, do you know what, I'm just going to accept it. Sign the contract, send it back to them. I think I asked a couple of questions about the contract first before I signed it. I'd rather have asked first and then not been like taken advantage of later on than just like not asking anything. So I asked a couple of questions just about like the usage rights and the ownership and mixing and mastering and something like that. That was all settled just fine. Signed the contract, and then I didn't hear from him again for like another 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, the same guy got back to me and he said, can you send me an invoice for the payment? So basically I needed to send him an invoice for them to pay me. So I sent him a PayPal invoice. Didn't want that. He said send a proper invoice because we need to send it to the label. So I made a proper invoice, sent that to him. He's now sent it off to the label, and the payment should come through via check to my UK address, which is where my parents live. So that was like the full like scope of it. So I literally reached out to him in December. So this was last year in December, and it's taken up until now to get everything sorted. And the song was released at the start of April, I believe. So I'm actually kind of late on this, but the song actually was released in April, so it took me 4 months to get all this sorted out. It wasn't like, you know, I didn't sort of dwell on it. They got back to me in December about using it. I was like, perfect, use the beat if you want to. I just left it, you know, I didn't bother pestering him and saying, you know, when can we get this sorted? I literally just I just left it with him and the label to do whatever they needed to do to sort things out. I just cracked on with YouTube. I was still sending out beats to other people, you know, I was just keeping busy. And then I heard back from them, and it turned out to be a good opportunity, and it's worked out really well. You know, I've developed a new relationship. I got an email from SHORDIE SHORDIE last night asking for more beats, so who knows what could happen with this. Now, one very, very, very important point to this, you know, this whole sending out beats for placements is this. I had sent out at least 1,000 emails prior to him getting back to me. Not specifically to him. I'd sent out 1,000 emails to other artists, all, you know, all pulled in 3 or 4 months. Every day, literally, I'd sent, not every day, like at least once every other day. I'd send out 2 or 3 beats to a full list of emails that I'd pulled from Instagram, Facebook. I literally just collected them. I had like 200 or 300 emails at this point, and I was just sending out beats all the time. Didn't hear back from anybody. Some people just told me to take them off their list. So I was sending them out consistently, and that's the main point that I want to get across, is that the consistency and the persistence, if that's the right word, is super key for this, because that's what's going to get you that one opportunity. Sending out 10 emails to artists and then getting upset that nobody's replied to you or nobody's used your beat for placement is just like the complete wrong way to think about this. So go into this with the mindset of you're going to have to send out tons and tons of emails to get that one reply, to get that one placement opportunity. And when it does come, don't be a douchebag and don't be sort of like demanding. You know, if you're in a position of not ever having a placement before and this being your first opportunity to, you know, gain some credibility, you know, work with a signed artist to a label, then, you know, basically just say yes to whatever they need. You know, any demands they have, just meet them, and that way you'll get that first placement. Take that first L and the wins will come a bit later, I promise. You know, how do I feel about it now? I mean, it's pretty cool to have that first, like, you know, that first ever big thing sort of happen. But, you know, I've been doing it for a long time in terms of just making beats and like selling beats, so it feels really good. Key thing is that I'm going to try not to slack with this. You know, that's the first placement. Let's keep the ball rolling and just keep sending out beats. So keep pushing them out there, keep sending them out there. 3 months of sending beats has landed me 1 placement. All I've got to do now is keep doing the same thing and hopefully replicate those results. Oh my, there it is, it's there. Sounds a bit for I think it's a snare.